Welcome back to Hardly Minding My Business. I am your host, Dashing D. Happy holidays, y'all. We are officially in it. We are in the holiday season. Thanksgiving has happened. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving and stuffed your faces and got to spend time with the people you love. Mine was quiet for the most part. I mean, we cooked. It was just my immediate family, but we cooked. I made the mac and cheese, which, you know, in a lot of homes is like the the dish, the side dish, right? So I made my mac and cheese. It's usually a crowd pleaser. I made some veggies. It was like it was interesting because I almost did like an Asian type of medley sort of thing. It was like broccoli and snap peas and these little ears of corn and carrots. And I did like a garlic ginger situation, which was actually really delicious. And I need to make that again because it was so good. And my broccoli was perfect, which, okay, I always want to try to blanch my broccoli. I don't know why I'm getting into cooking right now, but I always want to try to blanch my broccoli because I love that nice crispy broccoli, but somehow I was able to. I mean, my mom has like these magical pots and pans, so it was very easy to keep it nice and crispy and not too soft. I hate soft and soggy vegetables. But it was really delicious. And of course I always make the drinks. So I did a little Thanksgiving punch. It was like pear and ginger and lemon, something really simple and easy to make. And I was able to do it non-alcoholic and alcoholic for those who wanted. So it was really good. I'm gonna have to make that again. I might have to make that for the pod one day. Just, you know, why not? Y'all know I like to make my cocktails. As a matter of fact, I made me a little something. This is actually the drink I was supposed to make for Thanksgiving. And I'm glad I did it because it was easy to make, but it takes a little bit more time. This is it's a blood orange coconut margarita. Really delicious. Y'all know I love a cocktail with coconut. I'm really enjoying this. As you can see, I've been sipping on this for a while. And actually, I shouldn't even be using this glass. I need to, hold on. I think I'm gonna use something else. Wait, let's see, let's just pour that in there. I think we need to use something more pod appropriate, right? So let me just grab my mug here. My little Hardly Minding My Business mug. I'm so proud of these. I've got my Hardly Minding My Business mugs. It makes the drink taste even better. If you want one of these mugs, hit me up, let me know. They are for sale. So I'm just gonna sit that right there. But yeah, all in all, Thanksgiving was good. I really can't complain. I had a really good day. It was super chill. I have never been able to take a nap on Thanksgiving Day. I did that. I am kind of a nap queen though, so I guess it's not rare for me to take a nap. It's just not usually something I feel like I ever have time. I didn't feel rushed cooking or anything like that, so that was nice. And yeah, it kicks off the holiday season. I have not continued my holiday shopping. I don't I don't know. I don't even, normally by now I've at least made a list of things that I want to get for people. And then my family does Secret Santa every year. And this year, someone suggested that we do all Black owned gifts. I would love to do that. It's just that, you got to do a little digging sometimes, especially when you're looking for something specific for someone. So I think it'll make it interesting, though. I think we will probably end up with gifts that we would never imagine. So I'm excited for that. Although I can't say that I'm ready for Christmas. I just feel like it crept up really fast on us. But I embrace the holiday season and everything it brings, the togetherness, the joy, the laughter, the fun. There's a lot of holiday things I want to do. So I'm definitely going to try to do that. One of them is going to the holiday markets. That's like my jam in the winter time. I love doing that. So I'm sure I'll definitely check that out. I'm trying to think of what else with Thanksgiving. I don't think there was really anything else. I've been on vacation for the past week, so I've just been, doing what I do, protecting my peace. I do have an update about me running the 5K. So, okay, I want to preface this by saying I was doing it virtually. So I haven't done it yet. I have to do it by the end of the week, but I haven't done it yet because, guys, I hurt my ankle. I hurt my ankle the night before I was supposed to do the run. I was walking. It was not late, but it was dark. And, it gets dark at like 5 o'clock, 4:30, around this time of year. And I don't know what happened. There was this like break in the sidewalk, and I guess I didn't step right, and I landed on my ankle. So I didn't get to run yet, but I am going to. It's feeling a lot better today than it did a couple days ago. So I'm very, very happy about that. I was like, of all the times for this to happen, of course it would happen the night before I'm supposed to do this run. So I'm glad that I was supposed to do it virtually anyway, because that's going to make it a lot easier for me to just kind of get it done this weekend, so that my stats will still count. But yeah, I probably shouldn't even be drinking this cocktail right now. It just tastes so good in the hardly minding my business mug. Anyway, so what do we have to get to? Petty or nah for this week. Y'all gotta stop calling everything low vibrational when you don't want to do something, or when you're not interested in something. Why don't you just say, I don't want to do that? Because everything is not low vibrational is what you make it. The vibrations, are what you make it. Sure, there are going to be situations that are negative and not what you want to put yourself around. Cool, then don't do it. Then don't do it. I'm not encouraging you to do anything you don't want to do. But what I'm confused about is everything. Like, everything on the internet these days is, oh, that's too low vibrational for me. All right, well, here's a perspective. Maybe the vibes are what you make it. Maybe the vibes are the way you curate them, right? So maybe if you bring the positive vibes to whatever space you're going into, whatever thing you're doing, you won't have to worry about whether it is low vibrational or high vibrational or whatever. Y'all be picking up these buzzwords that come from somewhere, but y'all be picking up these buzzwords, and then it's like you take it and you run with it. And a lot of times, for no good reason. All I'm saying is, curate your own vibes, curate your own positive energy, curate your own positive spaces, and then you won't have to worry about whether this thing is low vibrational or high vibrational or whatever. And honestly, the mood is the mood, right? Like, there are some spaces where you're probably going to walk into that it's not going to be okay. I feel like work is one of those places, right? Like, it's not always going to feel good to go to work. Maybe for some people it does, but I feel like, generally speaking, like a large majority of people like have good days and have bad days. Some people have only bad days, but I think the majority of us probably have some good, some bad, some positive experiences, some negative ones. But y'all just gotta stop like buzzwording the fuck out of everything. This is really more about the buzzword of it all than anything else. Like, is it really low vibrational? I saw a video. I know they were trying to be funny, but it was super corny. Where someone they were like at a restaurant or something, and the woman was, you know, talking about the plate and how she doesn't understand why they brought that plate to her looking like that, with the food looking like that, and you know, it's a low vibrational plate. And I was just like, what the fuck does that mean? A low vibrational plate. Explain to me what that means. Somebody please tell me. But what does that mean? And then she eats the food anyway. And I was like, this joke is super whack. I don't know what this, like, this joke is really, really terribly whack. That's really all I have to say about that. I think it's dumb. You know. I think it's dumb, and I think it is. Please make it go away, because I don't care for it. I do not care for it. Anyway, let's move on. What else do we have to talk about today? I don't want to talk about Trey Songz, but we gotta talk about Trey Songz. I don't know. Anyway, Trey Songz. Trey Songz, last week, he was back in the news because he's being accused of punching a woman in a New York City bowling alley. He denies doing it. Now, I have talked about Trey Songz for a while here, and I have said before that there's a lot to be said about Trey Songz. If you could just look it up and find all the stories and all of the accusations against Trey Songz, and I can't help but think that, okay, what are we doing here? I think that there's a lot going on there, and I don't understand. What are we doing? A rape case that was against him, that I think we've probably talked about before, just got dismissed because the statute of limitations expired on it. That does not mean that he was found guilty or not guilty. That doesn't mean that the thing he's being accused of didn't happen or doesn't matter. It just means that the law is what it is, and this is how it works, right? They weren't able to go to trial or anything like that in time. They couldn't prosecute him. So that's where it ends, right? But I think that more than enough people have come out and talked about the fact that Trey Songz has sexually assaulted them or abused them in some way, women specifically, that, you know, calls to question what the fuck is really going on here, right? I don't know what to say anymore about it, because I just feel like every time we turn around, something is coming out about him. I'm curious to see down the line what that's going to look like, and if anybody's really going to take it seriously, because I don't know that anyone is at this point. But it's just so, like, it's just weird. Like, really? I don't know. And then I think the thing that frustrated me the most is that the other day I was sitting in the salon next to someone who was talking to the hairstylist, and they were having a conversation, chatting it up about a lot of different things. Pop culture things came up, of course, as it does in casual conversation. And she brings up Trey Songz, and then she says, I just don't understand because he's so attractive too. He's so fine. Like, why? Like, he doesn't need to do that. I want to be really clear about something. I want to be abundantly clear about the fact that your level of attractiveness level of attractiveness is not an indicator of whether you are an abuser or not. Sure, abusers can fit certain criteria, may have certain patterns that they follow, but it's not necessarily the way they look. It is just mind-blowing to me and incredibly upsetting to me that people still say this. Women still say this. Oh, he's so attractive, he doesn't need to do this. Who needs to do this? Is there someone who needs to do it? Are we like, is it that it's, if he was unattractive, what? You would say, oh, I get it. What the fuck does that mean? Your level of attractiveness and your status in the world and your level of popularity doesn't determine whether you're an abuser or not. It doesn't determine whether you're a rapist or not. I don't understand that. Like, what fucking world are we living in that's still like, why is that even a statement? Like, for what? So what? He's attractive. That doesn't mean he's incapable of abusing. That doesn't mean he's incapable of rape. It just doesn't. That's where people get it fucked up. And that's where people get it confused. And that's why people like Cosby, like R. Kelly, like, we could make a long ass list, Harvey Weinstein, who we'll get to in a second. That's why people still have this confusion about what is right and what is wrong. And that's why it takes so long to get people on board when someone is doing something to multiple people that is dangerous and harmful, physically dangerous and harmful to other people, to women specifically. And it takes forever, a lot of times, for people to even believe that this thing happened. But when you're thinking of it from the perspective of, oh, well, he's attractive, because think about it, if you use that logic, then every attractive person you see, you'd be like, nah, he would never. That's not a litmus test for whether you're nasty or not. It just isn't. That shit made me so mad. It made me so mad. I just started typing really, really fast. I was just like, let me take some notes on this, because I'm so frustrated with that mentality and with that thought process. I don't like it. It frustrates me so much. But Trey Songz, again, I'm going to say, and I said this months ago, but Trey Songz, might just need to get the fuck out of here, because how many people need to accuse him? How many people need to say and give details about what has happened to them or what they have experienced with him? I really don't understand, but y'all didn't listen to Keke Palmer. I say it all the time. I know I've said it before, but y'all didn't listen to Keke Palmer when Keke Palmer was trying to tell y'all, hey, something ain't right here. Something in the water doesn't taste right. Like, I'm over it. I'm tired. I'm tired of having to talk about these men who, have these reputations. I'm tired. Let's move on to someone who's a little bit easier to talk about. Can we talk about Jonathan Majors for a minute? Jonathan Majors is really dope. He's been doing a lot lately. He's had a lot of success in the acting world, and he is popping up on the scene everywhere these days. He's a part of Marvel. He is going to be in Creed 3 with Michael B. Jordan. That comes out, I believe, March 3rd. I thought it was really cool that a video was posted. I think Hollywood Melanin posted a video of Michael B. Jordan showing up to Jonathan Majors' latest premiere, which was for Devotion. You know, I had the opportunity to see Devotion, and I ended up seeing a different movie a few days ago. We're going to talk about the movies I did see. I definitely still want to see that. I'm kind of mad at myself for not going to see that instead, because the movie I did see was terrible. But I just wanted to give him a little shout out because he's been doing big things. He just did an interview on Jennifer Hudson's show. It was really cute, but he was talking about all these different things that he does and how he stays motivated, and you know, that he talked about how excited he is just for what he's doing and the fact that it's going well, and he's been successful in the acting world, and he's done a whole bunch of things. I'm sure you've seen some of the projects that he's done. I know he was on Lovecraft Country when it was on. It only ran for one season, which is still a mystery to people because it did so well, and HBO canceled it anyway. Like I said, his latest movie is Devotion. I believe he's in 2 movies right now, like 2 active movies in the theaters, but I can't remember the title of the other movie. I would just say look him up and you'll find a lot about him, and what he has going on right now. I'm really excited for Creed 3 in March. He seems to be a big part of Creed 3. I posted a while back when him and Michael B. Jordan were, you know, flexing their muscles. They were on set of Creed, and they were, you know, they were making it do what it do. But, you know, speaking of that, just real quick, some of y'all hit me up about my Winston Duke video. I had a lot of technical difficulties with the last episode and getting it up there, so I kind of just tried to post clips where I could, and the main clip that I posted was that Winston Duke clip, and y'all had a lot to say, and I think that's I appreciate the feedback. You know, some said it was too long. I went on for too long. I really laid it on thick, which I did, because, you know, Winston Duke is thick. And then you know, I also had a couple people tell me that, you know, they shared my enthusiasm for his talent. So, you know, listen, what I can do here, what I feel like doing good work is being able to, you know, appreciate Black men and their talents. Okay, so I'm not gonna act like they're not without fault. Obviously, we just had a whole conversation about Trey Songz. But, you know, when there are nice things to say, when there are good things to say about some of these Black men out here, you know, I gotta say it. I mean, I say he was talented. I didn't just swoon over his looks, but, you know, whatever. Anyway, I won't get into that again, but yeah, I'm really excited to see where his career goes from here. I'm really excited to see him again as Marvel progresses, and the new phase starts, because I know he'll be back. And, you know, I like to point out all the Black characters in Marvel, so he is definitely one of them. You know, with my watching that I did in the past month, I learned that. But yeah, so super dope. I feel like he's one of the actors to watch right now. And speaking of watching, we gotta get to what I'm watching. I finished Love is Blind. The ending was weird. I feel like the ending is still happening, actually. There's a lot of shit going on with SK and Raven right now. We'll talk about that. There's a lot of stuff going on with, a lot of backlash, I should say. Not a lot of stuff, but there's a lot of backlash with this Cole and Zenab situation. I said last week or the week before, I said that she is deeply insecure. Is very clear that is a major factor, and I think that's going to be a major factor in any relationship she's in. I think she desperately needs therapy. I totally sympathize with her situation and having lost her parents so young. I just think that I don't know if that is playing into this in some way, but I think that she needs to get a grip, if you will. She complained specifically about this tangerine incident that they had, which Netflix promptly said, you know what, after the reunion, we're just gonna show the tangerine clip so that we could be clear about what happened here. And to me, it did not look like Cole did anything wrong. He simply was trying to say, hey, I don't want you to spoil your appetite because we're about to go have a big dinner. We're going out for dinner. I think she took that to mean he was trying to say that she's fat, or she needs to lose weight, or he doesn't want her to gain weight. And I don't have any context to what has happened off camera, because she has also alluded to the fact that there have been certain things said and done off camera, but I don't really know what any of that is. So I don't have anything to go off of. I don't think any of us have anything to go off of. Some people said she was lying on him, and truly I don't believe that she was lying. I think that this girl actually believes the things that she says. I think she thinks that he was being disparaging, that he was being rotten, and I just don't think that's really what it was. I think her perception of what happened is skewed. So yeah, and he apologized. He did. He was not, he didn't, try to shy away from the fact that maybe he said things that he shouldn't have said. I'm gonna tell y'all one thing. If me and you are in an argument and you ask me if I'm bipolar, fuck you. Fuck you. There's a time and a place. Because someone said to me, I think he really believes she's bipolar. And I think he kind of tried to say that during the reunion. But what I said to that person was, all right, you think I'm bipolar, right? But don't wait till we get into an argument to call me bipolar or chastise me about you thinking that I'm bipolar. That's not the way you handle that situation. It just isn't. So it was poorly handled, but I also feel like she kind of poorly handled it, because it sounds like she just went to the other girls and gave them information about things that they had not seen. And they decided to, side with her. And that was kind of the opinion of him that they had. And I think that's kind of unfortunate, especially if what she's saying is not really how things happened. But I don't know. I also have been watching The Crown. I started watching The Crown on Thanksgiving. The Crown is kind of underwhelming this season. I thought it was going to be a lot more interesting. They dive into Princess Diana and Prince Charles's marriage more after the kids were born. So I thought that would be a lot more interesting. There were some interesting parts. I feel like the first couple of episodes were great, But then I feel like somewhere around episode 3, they started losing me a little bit. So I'm on episode 5 now, I think, and I don't know. It's not doing for me what previous seasons have done. I'm gonna finish it because that's just how I am, but I'm not really loving it. I'm not loving it the way that I thought I would. So disappointed about that. What I am enjoying though, oh, you know what, before I get to that, let's talk about what else I was disappointed about. Since we're here, since we're talking about disappointing content. I saw 2 movies in the past week. I saw She Said, which I told you guys I was waiting for it to come out. That is the movie that is about the 2 New York Times writers that broke the story of a lot of Harvey Weinstein's sexual abuse and ultimately led to his downfall and his removal from Miramax, his ending up in prison. It was truly just an account of like their interview process and their information gathering process. They tried to kind of infuse things about their lives in there, which weren't interesting to me at all. But it was really, to me, it was pretty underwhelming. I wasn't looking for it to be salacious or exploitative in any way. I just kind of wanted I kind of wanted the story to be told in a more interesting way. It is a movie after all. So, I just felt like it was really slow and the pace never really picked up. But it was interesting to hear the stories about different women that were affected, assaulted, and yeah. But it's also really difficult to try to tell a story about something like this because, again, you don't want it to be salacious and exploitative. You want it to be more of an information type of piece. I think that the way, I don't know which studio did Bombshell, I think that one was more interesting, I'd say, just the way that the story was told. And maybe it was because they were in like this really fast-paced newsroom, but I can't even say that because this was the New York Times newsroom. So I don't know. I just felt like it was really underwhelming, but fine. That wasn't even the worst thing I saw. The worst thing I saw was The Menu with Liam Neeson and Margot Robbie and a bunch of other people, John Leguizamo. Oh my gosh, Judith Light was in it. The dude from, what show was that I used to watch? Was that The Practice? There was this white guy on The Practice. He's in the movie. There's a bunch of people in the movie. It's supposed to be like an ensemble cast, and it was a really weird movie. Really fucking weird. The movie just came out. It hasn't even been out for 2 weeks yet, so I don't really want to give away what happened in the movie. It was a thriller. And I like thrillers, but I don't necessarily like horror or gore and blood and things like that. There wasn't a whole lot of that either, but I was underwhelmed by it. I thought that it was going to freak me out. I even said, I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to this movie at 8 o'clock at night. I'm probably going to have nightmares about this movie. And then I was just like, but this is weird. This is odd. I don't even know what to make of it. Like the train was on the tracks for a while. And then it took a turn and I was like, what made them make that decision? That was a very strange movie. Very, very strange movie. Would not recommend. 1 out of 10. I would not recommend. And I normally don't give ratings. I normally don't do that. And I normally don't tell people not to go see things that I did not like. But I just feel like it was a waste of money. I feel like that's the type of thing that you wait for to come out on streaming. I will say this. Actors are really good at, even when a film is not good, they're great actors are great at being great, right? Margot Robbie, same thing. She ended up having a pretty significant part in the movie. And same thing with her. But again, like, I didn't like the middle. I didn't like the ending. It was weird. It was really weird. And I hope to never do that again. And then the last thing is The Vow. I started watching The Vow. I told you guys that I was going to start that. That was one of the documentaries that I was really interested in watching. And I knew what to expect because I had seen season 1. Season 2, they kind of get to the shit because now all the chips have fallen. Well, at least for some people, for the top people, the top 5 women that were involved with Keith Raniere, who was the head of the founder of NXIVM, they kind of get to the shits a little bit. You know, you see them going to court. Some of them are testifying. A lot of them turn on him, as one does, because who wants to go? Now, y'all know those white women don't want to go to jail. But they were doing some wild shit. And they kind of get deeper into some of the wild shit that they were involved in, which is really interesting. Don't go to the movies and see the menu. Go to HBO Max and watch The Vow. Like, even if you have to pay for HBO Max, which currently there's a free weekend, but by the time you see this, the free weekend will probably be over. And I know a lot of people don't have cable, but skip the menu, watch The Vow. Like, do the free trial or pay for HBO Max if you have it, borrow somebody's password or whatever it is. The Vow is really interesting from season 1 to season 2. Definitely start from the beginning. Ooh, and White Lotus, speaking of HBO Max, White Lotus came back and I started watching it. It's good this season too. It's good this season also. It is season 2. I'm curious about how it's gonna go. We know that someone else has died on a different resort than the one that was on last season, but I don't know how that's going to end. So that'll be really interesting. We'll see how that goes. I don't know. I think it's interesting. I like the fact that they kind of distract us from the fact that we're waiting for a murder to happen, but I'm still trying to decide how I feel about this season versus last season. Only 2 people are back from season 1, and honestly, one person you didn't, nor do you see much of them now. But yeah, I will definitely continue watching that because love it. Why not? But yeah, that's all I have for y'all this week. I will talk to you next week. As always, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. Subscribe to YouTube. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you like to listen to your podcast so you always know when an episode has dropped. If you want a mug, let me know. I think that's it. I am hardly minding my business on TikTok and Instagram. I will be back next week. Thanks. Bye.